This could be the greatest gambling video of all time, and the reason is I have a pick for today, MLB. I have a pick for tomorrow, Thursday Night Football, and the most insane NFL player prop for Sunday. So we're going to get to gamble 3 straight days, and we're going to win every day. So let's get into it. Now, I gave out this pick earlier. Davante Adams, under 89.5 receiving yards. Shohei, under 1.5 bases. Bobby Witt. Now, we have to keep going with Davante until we hit the max limit. And the reason is when you're looking on OddsJam, through the NFL odds, player receiving yards. So we went through this in the previous video, finding this bet on the middle betting tool. But basically what you'll notice is Underdog Fantasy as well as PrizePicks, they're missing the fact that sportsbooks just keep taking their lines lower and lower. Pinnacle Sportsbook, when we started doing the last video, I think they were at 84.5 for Davante's receiving yard line. Now they're all the way down to 78.5. So all of the sharp action, once player props were posted, is steaming lower, right? The market keeps moving lower for Davante Adams receiving yards, which means all of the sharps, right? All of the people betting offshore, all the syndicates are coming in on Davante Adams under in terms of player receiving yards. And we can still get it under 89.5, which is 11 yards higher than the entire sports betting market. Caesars, they have under 78.5 juice towards the under, and we're getting under 89.5 on Underdog, 11 yards higher, right? So even just browsing odds on OddsJam is critical because, again, if you're playing Davante over 89.5 in your Underdog entry when you could get over 78.5 on Caesars, you're screwed. You're never going to make money sports betting. Sure, Davante Adams may have a great game. He may put up 100 yards. I don't know. But if you're placing bets, over 89.5 at minus 122 implied odds, when you could bet that on a sports book over 78.5 minus 106, you're getting ripped off, right? So this is why sports betting is so fascinating to me, to a lot of people, and why it's so profitable for me and a lot of other people who understand the math, kind of how to look for value, is because every sports book sets lines independently. You can kind of view them all as an independent data point of where the line should be. So when all the sports books are setting Davante Adams, his receiving yards line at over under 78.5, and we can get under 89.5, so 11 yards higher. So Davante has 89, 88, 87, all the way down to 79 receiving yards. We're cashing our under on Underdog. Everyone else is losing. Like, that is finding value as a sports bettor, and really should show you the importance of line shopping and really looking for value in the odds. Like, we're getting 11 yards higher on the under, which is incredible, right? Davante is going to put up 85 receiving yards. Our bet's going to cash. Everyone else's bet is going to lose. So pure value play. I mean, what you could also do, right, is you could bet on Underdog Fantasy under 89.5 on Davante. And then you could go to Caesars and you could play a little bit of the over 78.5 at minus 106 odds. Then you have on a middle, right? If Davante puts up exactly 85 yards, you'll win your sports bet on Caesars and you'll win, on Underdog Fantasy if he falls anywhere between 79 and 89 receiving yards. That seems pretty good, right? So let's get to the next play. So that's the first play I have. Again, just using OddsJam to line shop, look for value. You can do this for college football, NBA, NFL, whatever you want to bet on, right? So let's go to the next bet I have, which I absolutely love. And this is for Thursday Night Football. Amari Copper, under 4.5 receptions, absolute slam. Minus 122 implied price on Underdog Fantasy. Right, so here, PrizePicks isn't offering a line, so you can't play this on PrizePicks. But, I've said this before, I'm going to be doing more videos on Underdog Fantasy because their payouts are better, right? For a 3-pick entry, well, we can just show it. So the way that these platforms work, right, is PrizePicks and Underdog Fantasy are what we call fixed parlay platforms. So basically, any 3 picks you select in a power play on PrizePicks, you're always seeing 20 to 100. You can switch around picks. You can switch around overs, unders. Nothing changes. Your payout doesn't change, right? So the payout just quite simply doesn't change. So it's very different than sports books, right? Like you can see even here, On the sports books, it's like Caesars for Josh Jacobs. They have the under, juiced, right? The under 11.5 receiving yards is juiced towards the under. So Caesars thinks the under is more likely to hit. On Underdog Fantasy, right, it doesn't matter if you pick the over or the under. Your payout isn't changing. So the odds, the implied odds, are the same. So for any 3-pick entry, you can see on PrizePicks 20 to 100, which is plus 400 odds. It's not plus 500 odds. It's plus 400 odds. So 1, 2, 3. And what you'll see on Underdog is it's 20 to win 120, right? So you're getting, so here it's 20 to win 100. Here it's 20 to win 120. So you're getting plus 500 odds on Underdog Fantasy for a 3-pick entry. 20 to win 100 in profit is plus 500 odds, right? 20 to win 100 in profit plus your $20 stake back makes the payout 120. 20 to win 100 in profit is plus 500 odds. So essentially, what you can do, and what we've done in other videos, is kind of reverse engineered. Okay, how do PrizePicks odds, or the lines on PrizePicks compare to those on the sports books? And essentially, the way you can think about it is if you go to a parlay calculator, is essentially, right, what PrizePicks is doing is they're saying, hey, any 3-leg parlay is going to be plus 400 odds. So the implied odds they're giving you is minus 141, right? And we've gone through the math in other videos, like in-depth, how to calculate payouts and implied odds, implied juice, implied vig on PrizePicks. And long story short, they have a lot of vig. They do. Like, there's no other way to put it. On PrizePicks, for a 3-pick entry, a 3-pick power play, you're only getting plus 400 odds. The implied juice is minus 141 on both the overs and the unders, right? Whereas on Underdog Fantasy, it's only minus 122. Because again, any 3-pick power play on Underdog Fantasy comes out to plus 500 odds, which implies that if this were a parlay, you would be getting minus 122 on every single leg. So we're looking for value to minus 122. If we can get a bunch of bets that are hitting, or that should be priced at like minus 140, and we're able to get them in our Underdog entry at the implied price of minus 122, we know we're going to be profitable in the long run, right? So that's pretty cool. So the next one we can go through is, so let's go back to Amari Cooper. So we have Amari Cooper under 4.5 receptions. You can see here the true price is minus 131, right? We're getting the implied odds of minus 122 on Underdog Fantasy, right? This is the implied juice for a 3-pick entry or a 5-pick entry, not a 2-pick entry. For a 2-pick entry, you're getting minus 137, which is why I'm mainly going to be placing 3-pick entries, because the implied prices are better. And if you need a little math lesson, again, we have a bunch of videos kind of really breaking down the math, the break-even win percentages. You can really get into it. Like at OddsJam, our goal is to really help you see how these gambling companies work, how you can actually make money, how they try to make money, and how you can like flip it on them to try to make money. And basically, the way that PrizePicks works is they try to charge a lot of juice without showing you that juice, because you don't see for a 3-pick entry that they're charging you minus 141 implied juice. You just see it's 20 to win 100. It's not like the sports books where you can just like look at the odds, right? So you have to like figure it out yourself. So on Underdog Fantasy, we're getting in a 3-pick entry minus 122 on Cooper. That seems pretty good, considering every sports book is pricing this minus 145 to minus 167. In 2 of the sharpest sports books, including Pinnacle, this is the sharpest sports book in the world, the most efficient betting market. They take the highest betting volume. They're pricing this at minus 167. We're getting it minus 122, which is 45 cents of improvement. BetOnline is pricing this at minus 154. So we're getting a lot of improvement to BetOnline as well, 32 cents. So the 2 sharpest bookmakers are pricing the under as a heavy favorite, right? Sportsbooks imply win probabilities through their odds. When something is very negative or very juiced, it's because the under is a lot more likely to hit, right? The under is a lot more likely to hit. So this is the second play I'm going with. right? And that's another important concept is sportsbooks imply win probabilities through their odds. If a UFC fighter is minus 900 and his opponent is plus 700, so you got to lay $900 to win back 100 on the favored fighter, that fighter is obviously very likely to win. That's why the sportsbook is pricing him at minus 200 and his opponent at plus 700, right? So you can quantify that mathematically with the no vig odds calculator, right? If there's a minus 900 favorite whose opponent is plus 700, the win probability, according to this market with the vig removed, is 87.8%, right? So you can quantify that, right? So basically here, if Pinnacle is pricing the under at minus 167 and the over at plus 124, the under has a 58.35% win probability and should be priced at minus 140 according to Pinnacle, the sharpest bookmaker. So this is a play. Definitely happy to go with 3.2% profit margin. Again, there's some videos that kind of explain the profit margin, stuff like that. Tons of good content on the OddsJam YouTube channel to help you really understand how the sportsbooks work and how you can win long term and get an edge. It's all about finding an edge. That's why sports betting is so fun, is you can actually win. It's one of the rare forms of gambling, unlike slots, where you can actually win, right? So I like this play. Amari Cooper, under 4.5 receptions, Thursday night football. Greatest Thursday night football game of all time. And let's go to the MLB, and we can kind of compare the lines on PrizePicks for like a nerfy. So if we go to this Braves game, what we can do is go to first inning total runs. There it is. So first inning total runs, you can see here, DraftKings is pricing, they have 30 cents of juice in their market, right? So we can also go to strikeouts and we can take a look. So you can see here, for example, it's like, okay, there's 35 cents of juice in DraftKings strikeout market, plus 105 to minus 140, 35 cents of juice, right? On Underdog for a 2-pick entry, there's 74 cents, 37, 37, 74 cents of juice. So there's like double the juice on Underdog Fantasy, right? For a 3-pick entry. For a 2-pick entry, this is for a 2-pick entry. For a 3-pick entry or 5-pick entry, the implied juice is only minus 122. So there's only 44 cents of juice in this market. Still more than DraftKings, 35 cents. But again, what makes these platforms profitable is they don't vary payouts depending on if you select the overs or the unders. So it's possible to find good bets, right? Because again, they're not varying payouts depending on if you select the over or the under. So that's the next pick I went with. And then final one I went with is Dylan Carlson, over half of a hit. And that creates this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful 3-pick entry. So we got Davante under, Amari Cooper lower than 4.5 receptions under, and then we got Dylan Carlson over half of a hit. So here's what's going to happen. This is going to cash tonight. We're going to wake up tomorrow. That's going to cash. Then we're going to wait until Sunday, and then that's going to cash. And we're going to win 1.5 Gs. Let's make some money.